create a #1 Billboard hit song? Getting the artist in a flow state that they can create great melodies, creating ideas for the melody, and then curating those ideas. Creating a production that adds and subtracts things, curating and timing those melodies, getting them locked in. So how do you go about this if you are both the producer and the artist? This is a summary, and I'm taking information from a video that I watched last week. It's a video about Louis Bell, who's a Grammy-winning producer. He produces an artist, 24K Golden, and they write a song together in the studio. And I thought it was super insightful, so simple the way they approached it, and it's really not overcomplicated. If you know how to approach it, you can do this yourself in your own home studio. I think the real value of this video comes in Louis Bell's approach as a producer working with an artist. Now, I like to approach it as if it was just me doing it myself because I come from it as the producer and artist, and I think a lot of you are coming from that as well. How do you produce yourself as an artist? So let's come at it with that perspective. So how do you create a #1 Billboard hit song? I don't actually know because I've never created a #1 Billboard hit song, but based on this video, you can see that the whole focus, mostly it's on the melody, the lead vocal melody. So all the time is spent just creating ideas for the melody and then curating those ideas. So 3 different things that I found really, really cool in that video was 1, getting the artist in a flow state that they can create great melodies. 2, creating a production that adds and subtracts things that can inspire new lead vocal melodies. And 3 is just curating and timing those melodies, getting them locked in. So basically you have a full lead vocal track with gibberish, and then you do the second step, which is adding lyrics. So how do you go about this if you are both the producer and the artist? You're in your home studio and you want to create a song that's catchy, maybe has a chance to reach Billboard. What the video suggests, and what I do in general anyways, how I create songs, is just quickly get a mood down of maybe a guitar part or a piano part or an Apple loop or a splice loop, and just so you have a loop to record ideas over. So for example, I was inspired by this little Vox effects here. I added a bass line and then I added a drum loop with another vocal hook here. So basically what I'm singing over sounds like this. And then that loops. So the idea now is not to really dive too deep into the instrumentation, but to focus on the lead vocal melody. So how do you get yourself in a flow state where you can just create melodies over and over again? And what they did in that video was they just did it linearly, as Louis Bell was sitting in the production or producer seat, he could kind of go from start to finish, and they just kind of recorded straight through and just kept the recording going. If you're producing yourself, what you can do is actually just loop it and then record, enable your vocal track, and I'll show you what I did, what ideas I came up with. And you're just trying to get into a flow state of creating ideas on the mic. You're saying gibberish, you're saying things that come to your head, and it sounds like gibberish. For example, it sounds like this. And now, what you saying about got a 45 and waist. I don't wanna change but the place. And I know what you're gonna round down, but you don't wanna DNA. Just gibberish, right? I can walk and pace and I don't wanna change, but you I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's the right one you might go with, but the idea is just to keep going. And if you're the producer working with an artist, you can actually just be recording that and then taking mental notes of what works. While you're the artist and the producer, you can loop it get your ideas going, and then just make mental notes of what sounds good. If you forget, you can always listen back to the whole thing. The second thing is adding and subtracting production elements that inspire different ideas. So what I noticed in that video was Lewis was like adding and subtracting what he could in his instrumentation to inspire new melodies. So like, for example, if I take out the bass here and the drums, this section here is going to inspire a different melody than this section, right? Because this section is more bare. It might inspire a softer melody. It might inspire a longer melody. And so as you loop your track here, you might want different sections, or you should probably have different sections with different elements, some type of build, some type of peak and valley, so you have inspired different melodies. It was cool to see him do that in real time because he was working with 24K Golden, and as they were going through the track, he was in real time like moving things over, subtracting things, coloring things, and making notes. So you do have a lot more flexibility if you are working with a producer as an artist, because they can do that. They can focus on doing that while you as an artist just focus on making the melodies. But it's still possible, like I do in my position, to do it all at the same time. The third thing is when you're done or when you're exhausted of coming up with melodies, and it should come to a point where you're like, I think I need to take a break, or I think I've done enough. This is when you curate and time the melodies. So you take your comps of your loop and you listen through. What works for me is like, I'm just looking for things that sound cool, sound catchy, and sound memorable, show some type of energy. The catchiness, especially for the billboard, is what you're kind of looking for. So if you remember a lyric or a melody line, that's likely a good kind of data point to use, because catchiness is everything in billboard charts here. So what I mean by timing is like when you find the right melody, you can separate melodic ideas and shift them around, which they did a lot of. For example, if I like this section here, got a 45 and waist, I don't want to change but the place. If I want this line to happen at another place in the song, like maybe I want to start with this line, I just move it over. And now I'm starting with that line. What you saying about? So you have the flexibility to just move different melodic ideas around and time them, right? Like zoom in and make sure you're spending time making sure the lines are quantized, like depending on where they are in the beat, that looks like it should be here, so you can shift that over, shift the audio over. And now, what you saying about energy, got a 45. Got a 45 and wait. 45. Got a 45 and waist. I don't wanna change but the place. And I know what you got around town, but you don't wanna do your name. So maybe if I don't want that, just come over here and grab the second part. This part. Kind of want that to be here as well. So I grab this part. Downtown, energy. Got a 45 and waist, I don't want to change but the place. And now you have this map of lead vocal melody that's timed. Does it make any sense? No. But maybe you as you are going through it, you're picking out different words. And that's what they did in that video, is like 24K Golden may have just said something that came out of his mind. maybe that's an anchor point where you can use to create this song. And you can kind of hear things that I sang here as well. Got a 45 and waist, I don't want to change what the place. I don't want to change. Maybe that's an anchor where you can start writing a song around, and you build your song up from that point. And then when you have the lead vocal melody, then you can go back into your instrumentation, clean things up, re-record things, find new sounds, whatever supports that lead vocal melody, because especially in Billboard and hit songs, it's all about the top line lead vocal melody nowadays. That's just how it is, because that's what really makes the song memorable and catchy. If you found you got any value from this video, please give it a like and a subscribe. Let me know what you think in a comment, or if you have any questions about what I was doing here as I was going about this in Logic. As always, I hope to see you in the next video.